Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we have this beautiful 1934 Ford. This is a car I painted, I don't know, 15 or so years ago. It's going to be going for sale. So the gentleman asked me if I could do some paint correction on it. As you can see, it's kind of scratched up, a lot of swirl marks, just little stuff. Some of it can be polished out, some of it's going to have to be touched up. Overall, this car's held up really well over the last 15 or so years. Still looks great. Goes to show if you do a job correctly, take your time, stuff will last and look good. Anyway, let's get to it. This is kind of a last minute job that I have to do, so I wasn't able to move that out. Usually I don't like having more than one car in here being worked on at a time. It's kind of tight, but it is what it is. Got to get this done. So here's just a couple of things we're going to need to get this job done. Got two different types of swirl mark remover, both made by Meguiar's. Probably going to do another video of just a simple one-step paint correction using either one of these, but for what we're doing today, we're going to be using 3M's step 1 compound followed by foam pad polish and glaze. And the two machines we'll be using is a Porta Cable orbital buffer. Just kind of works like a DA. Put a mark on the pad here so you can tell when it's spinning, because if it's just sitting in one area, if you put too much pressure, it sits in one area and it doesn't really do any cutting. So little tip there. We also have a rotary buffer. Probably use a wool pad on that to get out some of those heavier scratches. General rule of thumb with getting scratches out, let's take this one for example. If you can take your fingernail, listen here, if you can grab that scratch with your fingernail, it's probably not going to come out. That'll either be, if you want it perfect, that'll have to be a repaint. You can try and sand it out with some 1500, go to 2000, 3000, polish it out, but it's definitely not going to come out. Some of these lighter scratches, those will definitely come out. So get to polishing, see what we can make of this thing. So for starters here, we're going to start off with our wool pad and the cutting compound. I'm going to see if we can get this scratch out. Note, shake up your compound. Work that in a little bit so you don't spray it everywhere. So as you can see, just with a quick polish with that wool pad, we got rid of that scratch. Here's some more of it over here. We'll work on that one next. But that's the first step. Just cut that out with that polish and your wool pad. Now that's going to leave some, if we put this out in the sun, I'm going to grab a light, we'll show you guys. If you put this out in the sun, that's going to look terrible, because that is creating scratches in it to polish that scratch out. So there's an example of those scratches I was talking about. The wool pad really does put some swirl marks in it, so those have to be followed up with the glaze, but you kind of need to put those scratches in there to cut out those scratches. I did do quite a bit of polishing on this scratch, and I knew it wasn't going to come out, but I was going to give it a shot. I did put 6 coats of clear on this car when I painted it, because I knew I was going to be flat sanding it and buffing it, but that's just not going to come out without repaint, and the gentleman doesn't want to do any paint work on the car, so that's going to have to live there, and it is what it is. So I'm just working my way around the car here, and right here we got a pretty nasty scratch. I think we can get that out. You're just going to want to run around, and anything that you can see like that, like I know that won't come out with the orbital buffer. So anything that won't come out with the orbital buffer, we're going to hit with a rotary buffer with the wool pad. That's your most aggressive step to polish out scratches like that. So you can see our scratch right here. Let's see what we can make of it. Just going to give that a second to cool off. What can happen is you can get that paint too hot. You can actually burn the paint. So you just got to be careful. That's why you see me keep checking it in the back of my fingers. Just don't get that too hot. I think we'll be able to get that one out. I know it's hard to pick up on camera, but that scratch is out. That'll have to be followed up with the orbital. Keep going around the car. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to work my way around, and I'll catch up with you when we get to the orbital, and I'll show you that process. So I think that's everything that's going to need to be done with a wool pad. So we'll move on to the orbital. I'll go ahead and wash down each panel. Some glass cleaner before we start polishing on it. No sense working dirt into the panel, so we'll get all that off of it. Anything that's on there, we don't want to be, like I said, we don't want to be working that into the panel while we're trying to polish it out. So I got 3 different pads here, orange, white, and blue. Goes from your heavier cut down to a polishing pad. I'm going to start with the white. I don't know if we're going to need quite an aggressive pad, so we'll start with this, and if that's not doing the trick, then we'll move to this. So I'll give you a little before shot. You can see all those swirl marks in there. Those really stand out in the sunlight. So we'll run over that with the white pad on the orbital and see what we get. So I will be starting with the Meguiar's Swirl X, just a swirl marks remover. They also have the number 9, which is the same thing. This is a little bit thicker than the number 9. If the white pad and this don't do it, you can move to the orange pad or whatever pad system you're using. You go to the cutting pad and you can use some compound that you used with the wool pad. So let's see what this does. So you can see it's better, but still got some in it. So I think I'm going to switch to that more aggressive pad with the same swirl mark remover, and we'll see how we make out with that. So I did run over this section here again with the orange pad, and I switched to the number 9 Meguiar's swirl mark remover. And let's put the light on it and see how that looks. So here's what we started with. And here's a quick pass over with that orange pad. And I think I'm going to follow up with the middle cut, the white pad, and that'll get rid of any haze that's still there. But that orange pad definitely cut out more of those fine swirl marks like we have over here. Alright, so I ran over this area here with the white pad and the number 9 Meguiar's. So see how that looks, and pretty happy with that compared to that. So now that I've established a process of what works, got to do that around the whole car. Yeah, better get to it. Alright, so after a little more experimenting on this side of the hood, I'll show you what we went with. I found something that works a little bit better, and here's what we went with. Orange pad with the rubbing compound, then went to the middle cut white pad with the Meguiar's number 9 swirl remover. Let me show you what we came up with. I'm just using this Mimic Sunlight. It's usually used for matching paint colors or checking in a booth your blends and stuff like that. So yeah, is it perfect? No, but is it a quality finish that, you know, out in the sunlight will look really nice? Yes. So here's what we started with. See all those nasty swirls, and that's what we get now. Pretty happy with that. This is a process that doesn't take too long. You can do this this one panel here, do it in 2 sections, and probably take you 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to work my way around the car, doing one panel at a time. We'll check back in once we've made some progress. Alright, so working my way around the car, I decided to put a tape line across the hood, do that 2-step process over here, and just going to show you what the result is. So this is what we started with. and this is a couple quick passes with that two-step process. So I'm gonna work my way around this car. I gotta get this done today, so I'll check back in once we're all finished. We'll pull it outside and check out all our hard work. Alright, here's one side complete. Follow it up with this second step. Oh, made a mess. So pretty happy with that. I got a couple little spots to touch up. Stuff like this. Just mix up a little single stage black, touch that up. I gotta finish, here you can see that side's done. I gotta continue on this side, finish this up with the second process, and then we'll be done. We'll clean up the running boards. I've made a mess of those. Clean up the glass, and we'll pull her outside. Now you can take this as far as you want to go. You can spend more time with the cutting process. Well, I had a mishap. I got my pad caught on the bumper, and that's the result. But like I said, you can with that process there, you can spend a long time on one panel, really get every little scratch out that you can, and follow up with the second process, and you'll have a real nice panel. This here, I'm just getting the majority of the stuff out. Like I said, he's just selling this car, wants to get it looking good for photos, so that's what I'm doing. But I just wanted to give you guys a, kind of a quick little rundown of, how you can get your car looking good for, probably under 200 bucks for everything, including the tool, and a good day's worth of work, and you can have something that looks real nice, presentable. If your paint was not in as good as condition as this, you could start with a wet sanding process. That's a little bit more in depth, maybe something we can do another video about sometime. But yeah, if you've got nice paint and you just want to bring it back to life, you can't go wrong with this little process here. So I'm going to continue on. The running boards had some brown staining to them. I don't know what it is, but I couldn't get it off with much, so I hit it with some spray 9, letting it soak, and you can see it's running off pretty dirty. You can see some brown, so whatever was on there, the spray 9's taking it off. I'll probably have to do that a couple times, but yeah, probably hit it with a scrubby brush. We'll let that do its thing, and then we'll clean them up. Well, there it is, all complete. I wish we had more sunlight, because it really does look nice. No swirl marks, anything like that. So there you have it. A couple hours, well, a long afternoon and some elbow grease. You can get your old dead paint looking like glass again. Anyway, till next time guys, hope you liked that video. Take care.